Hey guys, today I'm here with my friend Ricky.
What's up?
And we'll tell you guys everything that you need to know about Rotman Commerce at the University of Toronto.
My name is Ricky Kim. I'm going into my second year now, and I'm considering either a management specialist in Rotman Commerce or an eco major.
Hey guys, as you guys know, I'm Richard. I'm in second year and I might go into management or finance and econ.
I applied to UBC Sauder, the business school at UBC.
I also applied to business school in UBC, namely Sauder, but we both chose to come to Rotman.
Well, the first thing I chose was international reputation.
True.
Firstly, that pleases my family regarding the reputation. Or if I tell them I go to UofT, they'll be a lot more happy and they'll recognize, oh, UofT. Also, the international reputation allows me to work in other countries if I ever want to have that option.
True.
So yeah.
International reputation is definitely a big reason. But for me, the location, Toronto is the second biggest metropolitan city in Northern America, and that means more networking opportunities. And in business, as we all learned,
pretty important,
networking is one of the biggest things that we learn in Rotman, and I'm sure you guys will learn this in other business schools as well. So networking opportunities, international reputation, and location were some of our main reasons of coming to Rotman.
One thing that RC has probably taught me is you got to get out there to actually find the opportunities that you want. It's not going to be given to you, and they're definitely not easy to attain. Nothing's easy in life. You got to work and network and get good grades and all that to get those opportunities and to be willing to actually go for them.
If you want to succeed in Rotman, you really do need to put the work in. It won't be like high school where you can oh, I'm gonna study the day before and I'm gonna expect to get A or A minus.
Do not cram.
Do not cram. I think time management and learning to put the work in more than before is what I learned at Rotman. Make sure to study hard if you come to Rotman.
I think the hardest course for me was RSM 100 Intro to Management. The course doesn't involve any intuition. It's rather you gotta memorize the textbook and the lectures. Actually, everything. You gotta memorize everything, and you gotta memorize it to the dot. And I found that form of education to be rather strict, and I didn't really mix well with it. I really enjoy the more the intuition classes, Eco 101. It's challenging, but if you really enjoy actually analyzing and using analytical thought to solve problems, you'll definitely enjoy Eco 101.
Definitely.
Not RSM 100.
Definitely. The funny thing is, the hardest course that I found at Rotman was Eco 101, which is a course that Ricky actually enjoyed.
Yeah, actually, that was a great course.
But once you guys come to Rotman or just UofT in general, Eco 101 is known to be very notorious. It's very hard. If you didn't take econ in high school, or if you don't have any if you don't have background knowledge in econ, it may come as a new subject. Because for me, I never knew what econ was. I was just going in cold. And just learning about the world and how this big econ thing was a little challenging. It also depends on who you get as a professor.
I highly recommend James Pisando.
I heard lots of good things about Mr. Pisando.
You want to get passionate with him. He's such a good lecturer. I cannot speak more highly of him.
I didn't mind my professor, but my professor was known to be the hardest professor of the year. So my GPA was destroyed because of that course. So make sure to look for some good professors if you want to get good marks.
I don't think it's true. I think people generally do stay in Rotman, and they're not weeded out as roughly as people say it is. There is definitely students who fail the prerequisite courses, but they can simply just redo the courses next semester or during the summer, and they'll probably pass the second time. So the dropout rate is not true. That is absolutely nothing to be intimidated about.
The dropout rate, I say it is true to an extent.
There are people who drop out. Yeah.
There are people who drop out, definitely. But people, the rumors are 50% dropout rate, 60%. It's not that much of a dropout rate. I can't give you guys the exact percentage, but it's a lot less than what is known to be. And as far as the difficulty goes, it's not impossible to get perfect grades or good grades, but it's definitely harder than what you experienced in high school.
So I was actually not part of any RC clubs. To be honest, I would personally recommend joining RC clubs, especially if you know you're passionate about one area of business, because they could help you really network and connect, and also further develop like the knowledge required to enter those industries. If you're unsure about like which field of business you want to enter, or if you're even unsure about whether you want to be in business, I would say join a club if you feel that would help your decision, but I wouldn't say it's completely mandatory.
As some of you guys know, I was part of RCSA in my first year. What I learned of RCSA were really important to me. Some of the networks I was able to build, yes, I'd say those are very important. So if you do get accepted to any of the clubs, I would highly recommend that you join. It's not the end of the world if you don't get accepted to any of the RC clubs, because I'm sure Ricky has better GPA than me. So it gives you time to work on something else. Like RC clubs is good, but it also takes away your time. So it's a plus or minus at the same time.
The one word I would use to describe U of T is opportunity, because
Good one.
because U of T is like, it's a huge school, like almost like 45,000 students in one campus. So that can give a feeling of intimidation in regards to like competition and the sheer scale. Like if you walk into a lecture in Con Hall, there's like almost 1,000 people in a single lecture. And that can feel intimidating. But to the same token, because U of T is so big, there's a lot of opportunities. And if you're willing to chase after those opportunities, you'll find that there's a lot of opportunities specialized to each individual need, because there's a lot of people to begin with to accommodate those needs. So I would definitely describe U of T as opportunistic.
What I would say is like gym or like training session. I think U of T prepares you well for the actual world, like after university or grad school, because one of the biggest thing I learned in my first year was the mentality of like grinding and like switching and like you just have that different mentality. It's a lot of work, it's stressful, but it also builds you that mindset and it well prepares you to the actual world. It's gonna buff you up mentally. So I would say it's like training / gym.
No, I wouldn't say it's hard at all. Like, first thing actually I would recommend is live on residence. I think that's actually a really good way to make friends. And for Rotman Commerce, you can definitely make a lot of friends a lot quickly, because you're in a lot of the same classes. You're gonna run into each other often. There's also a lot of events that help you like socialize and meet a lot of people. So don't be afraid. Just because U of T is big doesn't mean you'll be like in your room studying 24/7.
True. As far as like for me to make friends, it wasn't hard, especially for RC. At the end of the day, RC students are all business students, and we're very good at making friends because that's what business is. Academically, yes, it is competitive, so people may think, oh, like people are so harsh and cold just because we're very competitive academically. But outside of school, we're very friendly and it's so easy to make friends. So I would definitely say, no, it's not hard to make friends at RC.
I have two main memories associated with Rotman Commerce. The first is the spin event. It was hosted by the club at Richardson.
Very cute. Come on, Ricky.
I've been seeing that all over
It was just like a ping pong hangout, and like there was a switch in the back too. That was a lot of fun. That event was a lot of fun because got to meet a lot of new people. I get to play ping pong and video games with my close friends. Oh, good food. That was really good. That's the best part. Your appreciation for food goes up a lot when you're a university student. And also my second memory is before my Eco 101 final, I actually got stuck in the elevator at the main library at U of T at Robarts with a friend of mine. And we were stuck in there for 2 hours. So we got to our Eco 101 exam 1 hour late. And then by then, like, there was no point in writing it, because they told us either you write with the 1 hour you have left, or you write it in February. And I was so defeated that day. But then we emailed the TA and the professor, James Vasando, and he was actually willing to let us write the exam 2 days after. So he actually saved my life there.
I say just being in class and just my daily life will be the best part, because we pay high tuition to go to URC, and U of T in general.
Yeah.
And the experience you get within the class and with the professor is profound. And the whole facility and everything was the best part about being at RC/U of T.
For each day, I'd say I'd study around like 1 hour just to like review the daily lectures.
Right.
I feel like that's actually really important. But like once it got to like midterm or exam season, that would probably like ramp up to like, I don't know, like 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like that's a little on the low side, to be honest. For sleep, I'd say I try to go sleep every day at around 11:30 to 12 on weekdays. During like weekends and Fridays, that would probably be pushed back a bit. And then like during midterm and final season, that would be pushed way back. So I'd sleep at like 2, I don't know, or 2:30, like just because like those extra hours definitely help.
And when would you wake up?
I would wake up usually around like 7 to 8, around there.
So there's this like hidden rule in U of T, which is if you spend an hour in class, that means an hour or two outside of class preparing or reviewing that class. So I say I follow that rule pretty well. So if I had like 2 hours of lectures, I would study about 2 to 4 hours after that. During the midterms and final times, I didn't bump up that much. I tried to be as consistent as I can because I didn't want to be like stressed out or like bombed out at the end. So that would be like my study hours. For sleeping hours, I also didn't change for final or exam. Like I try to stay as consistent as possible. I usually go to sleep around 12 to 1 o'clock and wake up around 8 o'clock-ish area. So I did get plenty of sleep, like 8 hours, 7 hours a day.
Sleep is important.
Sleep is very important.
I would definitely say, especially for Rotman, don't be afraid to try. Like there's a lot of opportunities in Rotman alone and in U of T. So you got to be willing to actually go out there, be the person that you are, and like try the opportunities that are available. Because if you don't try, you obviously won't, progress a lot in your university life. And it can seem intimidating, but in all honesty, once you're out there, it's not intimidating at all. And if you're really like on the shy side, ask one of your friends to try with you. You have a lot of friends.
Definitely.
You'll make a lot of friends at U of T. And there's no harm in asking them, oh, you want to try this out with me or you want to try that out with me? Because you never know which opportunity you might find your passion in and where that can take you.
I would say don't be afraid to ask for help when you need help. And don't be afraid to see like bad marks on your transcript. As Ricky and I both agree with this, your mark in U of T or RC will be a lot less than the mark.
Especially during the first round of midterms, yeah.
Correct. Like my first round of exam was like Eco 101 and I've never seen that mark in my life. But don't worry because we all made it here. Don't be too stressed out about your first exam mark because it will get better for sure if you put the right work in. So I think it's like a wake-up call. So don't be afraid of the wake-up call. Yeah, so if you guys see me or Ricky at the campus in the future,
don't be afraid to say hi.
Don't feel afraid to say hi. So yeah, thank you so much for coming here.
No problem.
Until next time, bye-bye.